Excuse me, I have a second, people. Uh, yeah, I know. Thank you. Sorry about that. Got to mute my phone. Well, good evening, everyone. To those who don't know me, I am Edward Scanlon. I am also known as the NES Christian Gamer. Excuse me. So blessed to be back with everybody this evening. Second message back. I'm hoping soon to be getting back into gaming and everything else. But I am thankful by the grace of God, the heat has finally subsided. That ridiculously long 22-day streak we had up here in Rochester, New Hampshire. It was just absolutely crazy. And so, been crazy busy. To everybody out there, if anybody happens to be dropping into the chat, I welcome you. This isn't one of the nights I interact with my chat, with the congregation that comes in. I do apologize to everybody. However, those nights will be coming back with the Monday night music streams and also the game streams coming up Wednesday and Thursday nights. It's just, I've just been completely wore out, and this kind of triggers tonight's message. To those who are subbing and following on, to those who are following on Twitch, thank you. I'm live here on Twitch. But YouTube is my VOD dump, as well as Facebook and Twitter. And the links for the YouTube VODs are shout out to my Facebook and Twitter sites. So, thank you for all the YouTube subs. I appreciate one of you. I thank you for, I'm so thankful for each and every person that does come out. God bless you all. And I'm so thankful. Short list of announcements tonight. And tonight is a night that I'm going to say straightforward. This is a night, I hope to God, to everybody out there, you've got a 5-point safety harness. I'm a NASCAR fan. So I'm going to tell you right now, I hope to God you have a 5-point safety harness to your chair, because you're going to need it. Not just one of those type seatbelts. I'm talking. To put it mildly. Because I'm getting something major off my chest tonight. And I can say, here in the United States, if you're on Social Security, if you're disabled, retired, if you're disabled, retired, or of the 1% that are working, it's a free night. But tonight is a night I'm calling out the 99%. And I'm just going to be straightforward with you. Tonight I'm talking about laziness. And I'm sharing straightforward my thoughts on laziness and how absolutely lazy we've become not only as a society, but also a working society. I know it's gotten absolutely horrible here in the United States. I gotta adjust my camera just here. I look like I'm standing on a banking of a racetrack. Look like I'm standing on a banked racetrack. But here's the thing. I've gotten to a point in this country. Things have gotten so out of hand with laziness. This country, it is absolutely ridiculous. And I know half the time I sound like I'm out of it. And it's because I am. Because I know I'm on the blunt end of it. Because I'm part of that 1% that's so overloaded. Uh, People have asked me if I could have any of God's billion, if I could have any one of God's ability. And this is one that I answer every single time without hesitation. It'd be omnipresent, because I've had more than my fair share of days where I need it massively. And it's gotten out of hand. Not just in our society, but even working. Not just around people with every single person, every single day. But it's gotten to a point where we're burned out. And I know if there was other people out there that were willing to step up to the plate, they'd be saying the exact same thing I'm saying tonight. The laziness in this country has got to stop. Not just in our personal society, but even at working environments. And I see it. And here's the thing. I cover this because I live up here in New England. I live in New Hampshire. I go to Maine. I work at an amusement park. And it's tough. Because most days, if I can be completely blunt, I don't even know how we can even get through a work day because of the lack of employees. And now I'm not saying this. Now I'm not just saying this because I do this during the summer, and I can't believe I'm even saying what I'm making, which is insane because it still floors me. I'm making $16 an hour. $16 an hour. Yeah. At one of the most simplest amusement parks that I work at. It's crazy. And I work there 3 days a week. But it's because, and people have asked me why I've been there as long as I have. And I haven't gotten into content creating full time. Straightforward, lack of employees. I've had my days, I've gone into work and I'm going out and going, I don't even know how we got through the day. And the amusement park I'm at, we're not a really big amusement park. We're a very tiny amusement person, size wise, per size. Yeah, we're a very tiny amusement park compared to name brand here. You can stick in whatever amusement park you're thinking of. We are a drop in the bucket compared to the full buckets some of these other amusement parks are. You want to put it into perspective. And I go back every year. And I've been there unofficially 11 years directly. I say unofficially because 2020 there was way too much information. It's been bouncing back and forth. Are we going to open? Are we not? Yada yada yada. Because things up here got going again, Because once we got COVID, once COVID got started getting under control, we started getting back to things fast. But it was just misinformation, broken information. But that's, I'll save that for use your words message. Straightforward. The laziness in our society kind of stuff. Even more, and I was seeing this, and I was reading through the Bible, student of the Bible that I am, and this is like what happens at the amusement park, because the the most difficult thing about the most difficult part of the job is filling out the job application. I work at a place where if you can fill out the job application, you're hired. Well, straightforward. And here's the thing. So people take the time to fill out the application, and then it's like an open flood of excuses. And I noticed this in the Bible. Now I'm a student of the Bible, and by the way, I've got my whole setup going again by the grace of God. It's not 100,000 degrees in here, praise the Lord. So I'm able to actually first night with scripture back, and now I use the YouVersion Bible app. Life Church and the YouVersion Bible app are not a sponsor. I should emphasize. I use the YouVersion Bible app, which is the best Bible app on this planet, period. They don't just give you one translation about, no. You have an entire Bible library. Not to mention daily scriptures, reading devotional. They pack so much into this. Honest to God, I feel like I'm stealing every time I open this app. Because they pack so much into this. And the absolutely crazy thing about this app, it's 100% absolutely free. There's no ads, no in-app purchases, nothing. It is all completely free. And it blows my mind. So, I'm thankful. Excuse me. By the way, not a sponsor, Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's why I'm sipping on it tonight. So, yeah, I'm reading it now. I'll be reading out a New Living Translation tonight. So you're gonna see me my screen go whoop. There we go. Yeah, I'm reading out the New Living Translation. Luke 14, starting verse 16. Thank you. And when I read this, I'm saying, oh my gosh, this sounds like what most people are giving for work excuses these days. Jesus replied with a story. You know, I'll go back to 15 for a second. It says, hearing this, a man sitting at a table with Jesus exclaimed, what a blessing it would be to attempt a banquet in the kingdom of God. And then in 16, now this is Jesus speaking. Yes, I'm thankful that they show the words of Christ in red. Jesus replied with this story. A man prepared a great feast and sent out many invitations. When the banquet was ready, he sent his servant to tell the guests, come, the banquet is ready. Verse 18 starts in with what sounds like most workplaces these days. But they all, emphasis on the word, all began making excuses. Welcome to 2024, people. One said, I had just bought a field and must inspect it. Please excuse me. Wait, what? I gotta read that again. One said, I had just bought a field and must inspect it. Okay, poor excuse of the day right there. Even I wouldn't accept that excuse. Please excuse me. My eyes would be rolling in the back of my head. Another said, I just bought 5 pairs of oxen. I want to try them out. Really? Please excuse me. Uh, this one, now verse 20, I guarantee you, which is the third excuse, I guarantee you, I'll give my reaction after saying it. Another said, I just got married, so I can't come. Can I be pastorally blunt for a second? Verse 20. A great feast. You know what you want to do? I'd say, bring your wife. Problem solved. Mic drop. Have a nice day. Verse 21. The servant returned and told his master what they had said. His master was furious. Can I be real? And going, duh. Because that literally said, that sounds like most workplaces these days here in the United States. The servant returned and told his master what they had said. His master was furious and said, go quickly into the streets and alleys of the town and invite the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame. After the servant has done this, he reported, there's still room for more. So his master said, go out into the country lanes and behind the hedges and urge anyone you can find to come, so that the house will be full. Talk about being desperate, especially in the workroom. I mean, that's basically most workplaces. We're like, if you can just fill out the application, you're hired. Verse 24. For none of those I first invited will get even the smallest taste of my banquet. In my honest opinion, all 3 of those, if it was a work environment, all 3 of those, I'd be like, y'all fired. (2024) in a nutshell, right there. Out of those 9 scriptures I just read. Yeah. That's the working environment in 2024. And I see it every day. I see it in New Hampshire. In the Tri-City area of New Hampshire. Businesses are falling because they can't get employees. People would rather be lazy. People would rather be lazy. And this is why I say to those that are handicapped, disabled, and the 1%, you get the night off. Because tonight, I'm calling out the 99. And there are 2 points of blame that I'm calling out. The first, and this is the big one. I know I'm probably going to get handed a lot of flack over this, but I'm just going to come out and say it. The government of the United States. And yes, I just said that. Now here's the thing. It was fine to do something for the pandemic back in 2020. However, this is reality. This is 2024. It's time to stop with the handouts for people to stay at home and be lazy and living out the system. It's time to change those handouts for those that are they're not willing to get their butts and set up something for those that are willing to say, hey, I'm going to get off my butt and go to work. We've had, in the Tri-City area of New Hampshire, that I've seen more in the past 4 years. I've seen more businesses close because of lack of employees. And a big part of it is because the government would rather give people money to stay at home and be lazy. You got the butts to go to work. I've seen in some of the businesses that are still open, men and women who are retired, having to go back into the workforce. I know part of it's cost of living, but there are men and women who are retired, who spent their younger lives working, having to go back into the workforce because men and women don't step up to the plate. Men and women would rather handouts from the government in the United States. Now, I know it's an election year. I know election's coming up in November, and I'm not running. Mostly because there'd be no way getting in office. But if I was running and I happen by some freaking nature I got in office, I will tell you this much. That would be one of the first changes I would make. Is start pulling the plugs on these handouts for people to stay at home and be lazy, get people out their butts, get them back in the workforce. The time is now to step up. Another big complaint, and I see this myself, and I hear it from teenagers all the time, especially ones that look like they're old enough to be able to work. I'm calling out the parents in the United States of America as well. And here is why. At the amusement park I work at, minimum age we start hiring people is 14. We had no choice. We're in desperation. Kind of like in the scripture I read. 14. Reason why. And we're having a hard time even getting people that old, that young, because men and women because in my honest opinion, I think some of the parents don't step up to the plate. And in my honest estimation, my honest opinion, when you are of a legal age that you can actually get work somewhere, you would be out working. Now, if I was a parent and had kids, and I'll be straightforward with you, my kids would hate me. But when they're of age to be working, I would be going down to the breaker box during the summer months, finding the breaker for their room. Off it goes. And I'm going to tell them, you want to have your power back? Get a job. The time is now. We need to start stepping up. We need to break the laziness. It has to stop. I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm just going to come right out and say it. It has to stop. drives me absolutely crazy. That it's gotten completely out of control. So I got something sucking up my Blue Stacks is sucking up my resources. That's why, if I know if anybody knows I'm lagging a little bit, I apologize. But here's the thing: we need to break the laziness. People who have worked their entire lives, they should be able to retire and not have to work. I got a feeling it's going to be men and women. I still remember hearing the story back in my youth. My father worked at the shipyard, and he shares a story. The guy was looking forward to his retirement. The day of his retirement, and I kid you not on this, guy clocked out. The second he clocked out at the time clock, he clocked into eternity. And I got a feeling it's going to be a lot of men and women that are going to be doing that exact same thing, especially in 2024 and beyond if we don't fix this laziness. People, it's real. It is absolutely positively real. To the government, I say this. I hope the government takes and realizes that, hey, let's get people back to work. The other thing about the laziness and all the people living off the handouts in this country, I'm just going to come out and say it. And I hope to God this sends a shockwave. I think the biggest wake-up call to the men and women that are not working, that would rather take the lazy route and say, oh, I'm just going to live off my handouts. Here's the thing. And I'm not saying if because that opens the door for doubt. The word I'm using is when. When it happens. When the right men and women get in office and they start yanking plugs on these handouts, all the handouts, I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to be the biggest wake-up call for this country. I'm just teaching reality 101. Reality is now. We all need to do our part. I've opened the chat for response time. And I'm just going to come out and say it. Chat, you're right next to me here at Twitch. If you're catching the VOD on either YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, comment section's right below me. time to improve. It's time to step up to the plate. And how many people here would just by show of confession, how many people would step up to the plate and say, I need to stop being lazy? The time is now. Time is now for me to stop being lazy. Drop it in the chat or comment section. I pray. Dear God, thank you for this time. Thank you for allowing me to share my heart. And that's been burning inside of me. On laziness. God, it's time to stop the lead. For society needs to stop. And I know it's gotten to be a really bad thing here in the United States. I don't know how it is all over the rest of the world, but God, we need your help now more than ever. I'm so thankful for just being able to say thank you and share what has been burning on my heart, you've laid on my heart. I'm thankful. God, I thank you so much. I'm also thankful for each and every person that comes out each and every week. I know this is a time frame where I'm not really interacting with the congregation that comes out, but I'm thankful for each and every person that comes out. God, I thank you. I thank you so much for allowing me to share my heart to everybody out there. God, I thank you. In Jesus' name. I know for a fact that one part of laziness that took me a while, because I grew up in church. One part of laziness that I took me time to break was the problem and habit of giving my life to Christ. It took me almost 18 and a half years. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, the best decision I ever made. And it's true. The best decision I ever made in my life. Which I'm so thankful for. And I don't like to close an experience without giving the men and women out there the opportunity to give their life to Jesus Christ like I did over 26 years ago. And like I always say, the chat here at Twitch is open. And also the comment section at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So jump in the chat or the comment section. Type in and give my life to Jesus Christ. And get yourself plugged in the Great Bible Living Church. And there are multiple out there. Two ways to talk about. The first one, introduction of Pastor Craig Rochelle, and that is Life Church. For location times of Life Church, you can check out Life Church. And the second one is my current home church, and that is Bethel Christian Church along Main Street, Norfolk, Maine. They're an old school style traditional church. Sunday school at 9 a.m. Sunday morning experience at 10:15 a.m. They're currently in the direction of Pastor Robert Cole. Jr. Pastor Robert Cole Sr., who led me to the Lord, is physically with the Lord. He has passed on, going to be with the Lord. Once again, I thank everyone for your time. God bless you all. Jesus loves you 92. Again, I thank everybody for coming out. I know this is a time. Saturdays I don't interact with the congregation that comes in. Those are usually my Mondays, Mondays where it's music nights, Wednesday night game nights, and Thursday night game nights. Those 3 nights I do interact with the congregation. Saturday is more message night. And by the way, thank you to each and every single person that came out. Trying to read names here. No Name Psalmist. Koelak, I believe, if I read the name right. And Circus O. Thank you to all three of you for coming out. I appreciate you all. I pray that God blesses you in some way today. Okay? Um, I may or may not try to get in a game stream next week. That depends on, obviously, the heat and everything else, and my health. Lately, I've just been burned out. But outside of that, that's it for me for tonight. Thank you to everyone who's come out. I pray that God blesses the three people that did come out tonight. For a moment, for the few moments that they were in. I pray that God blesses them in some way. And I always say this, invite somebody out, practice place with one of God. I pray that revival rips through this place like never before. I love everybody. Technically, it's hard for me to do messages like this. I love doing downshiftted messages. But when something has to be said, it has to be said. Like I always say, when you see something, say something. And this is no exception. I love you all. Like I said, take care. God bless you all. Jesus loves you 92. Have an awesome evening. Hope to see everybody out. So take care. God bless you all. Jesus loves you 92. Have an awesome evening. Out. See everybody out next week. Good night. God bless. Take care.